Welcome back to the Nerd channel. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerderotic.com. And tonight we're talking about Titans, Season 1, Episode 9, Hank and Dawn. And before we even get started, what an episode, huh? Wow, that was fun. Teen Titans Go. Wow. I think I need to go to therapy or something or call my sponsor. Hail Chris Persia. That was depressing. Now, before we get started, of course, spoiler warnings. If you have not seen the episode, please go see the episode first and then see our recap here where I will spoil the hell out of everything. Thank you for the paddle. Sculpted leather art by Viking Bitch, courtesy of Viking Bitch. It is wonderful. And hello, everybody in the chat. I will get to you shortly because this will be a brief rundown of the most depressing episode of superhero television I have ever seen. Now, we had the return of Akiva Goldsman. He directed this episode, and boy, did it show. Now, I know he is the showrunner, but when he's away, this show is better. And this show is also better with its characters outside of the Titans themselves. I mean, other than Dick, we can all say we love Dick. Dick is growing on everybody. We've had a lot of Dick episodes, but this was a Dickless episode. So we don't have Dick to talk about, unfortunately. And I don't even know where to go if I can't do Dick jokes. But this was about Hank and Dawn. She, of course, was thrown off a building by the nuclear family and has been in a hospital for 7 episodes, I believe. No, 5 or 6, something like that, in a coma. And it starts out with Hank waiting for her. And we get his backstory. He goes and steals some drugs and pops some pills and goes to sleep. So we either think we're in his dream or we're in her dream. I'm not sure, but because everybody dreams in total flashback and a perfect memory flashback. And we get to see Hank's origin, which by the way, Hawk and Dove actually have superpowers, but they don't in this show, which is weird because I would understand this creative decision if it's somebody else doing it who doesn't really understand the characters. But again, this is produced by DC. These are the people who make the comics. So there's no excuses other than, I don't know. And Jeff Johns, who has written brilliant Teen Titans comics, wrote this episode. And like I said, by itself, it wasn't bad. It was acted very well. And it really did give you like a dark backstory. So again, no superpowers. They Hawk and Dove are just vigilantes. And we find out Hank had a brother, and he was the original Dove. And his brother looked up to him, and it's a stepbrother or half brother. We don't ever see the parents. And there's a scene where the football coach wants to take his little brother to the weight room. And Hank bravely, like a good big brother, sends the little brother home instead of just running for help or something like that. But it's a kid, so I understand that in these situations, do happen. And he instead goes into the weight room with the coach. So we find out like that is one of his primary motivations of what's behind why he turns into a superhero later. We see through other flashbacks that he's had some head trauma. And he and his brother decide to be Hawk and Dove and go take out child molesters, which is a noble cause. No problem with that whatsoever. There are child molesters everywhere, especially in private schools. I thought it was interesting that they made a point to say this was a private school and this kind of stuff doesn't, they didn't want to show a public school in the bad light, but we all know that these things happen actually in public schools quite a bit. But it doesn't get talked about a lot, which I find is strange, but that is an issue for another day. So Hank was molested, and then so he and his brother decide to become heroes. And then we see Dawn. Dawn, we find out just through a conversation with her mother, who was played by, I'm forgetting her name, but Troy from Star Trek Next Generation. And she is abused. The mother is abused and her little sister is abused, but the mother's going to go back. Of course, Dawn is upset. So they're walking on the street and they run into Hank and his brother, and they bump into each other at a newsstand, and then they separate after they bump into each other and apologize, and a car hits Dawn's mother and Hank's brother and kills them. So this is how they met, and they both went to the same group, bereavement group, for lack of a better word. And we see them connect, and they meet in a bar and they talk. So they're just commiserating, of course, and bereaving their lost loved ones, and they end up dating over it. And once they get to know each other, Dawn starts talking to Hank, and Hank finally admits that he was molested. He wouldn't admit it to his brother, even though his brother knew. And she found the costume. It was like a bad football costume, what the original Hawk costume was, and the Hawk was named after the football team. And she decides to go confront the guy who molested Hank, because while he was beating up other molesters, he would not confront his own, due to fear. Didn't want his brother to find out, and he just didn't feel like he can do it. So she decides to confront him, but he followed her. She kicks his ass a little bit, then he kicks her ass, and then Hank comes in and beats the crap out of him. He tells Dawn to leave. Dawn says, no, we're going to stay and kill him together. And that's basically how Hawk and Dove were born. Now, throughout this episode, there was weird imagery. Just in the beginning, they kind of lost track of this, but in the beginning, in the mirror, when Hank is going for some pills, you see Rachel asking for help. And she's asking for help, but Hank can't see her for some reason. But somehow we were either in Dawn's mind the whole time or Hank's mind the whole time, reliving all this. And Rachel's trying to reach out, and she ends up waking up Dawn, who was able to pull off that little breathing unit and stuff, and then wake up Hank, who was in kind of a drug stupor. And she said, we need to find Jason Todd. And we remember that last episode ended with Rachel waking up Corey, and Corey trying to strangle Rachel, while Dick and Donna were on their way to the house. And this was at the Ohio house, who was Rachel's mom's house, basically. So that was the entire episode. So we got a lot of backstory. There was no superheroes in real costumes. We had the Hawk in his like kind of lame, kid-made football outfit, and we got necessary background. This would have been a fine episode if we're talking about a 25 episode season, 26 episode season, but we're talking about a 12 episode season. So we're in episode 9. We take this huge detour after a cliffhanger, and what really has been going on this season, like there has been some good stuff, there's been a lot of bad, but you can tell that they just don't have the budget for the superhero stuff, which is going to be kind of hard because your streaming service is DC Comics. It's kind of based on superheroes. So I'm at a loss for words on why there's budgetary constraints. The effects have been bad, and the only reason you write around, you don't go into a superhero show going, okay, we want to do a couple of episodes that really dive into child abuse and bereavement and substance abuse. And no, this is not why we watch the Teen Titans. Now, I have read most of the Teen Titans comics, and I know the general perception of the public is through the cartoons, be it Teen Titans Go, the early version, the later version. And if you're trying to hook a generation of kids who did watch from the early aughts, the Teen Titans show, that was very good, by the way. If you're trying to hook that audience in and then bring them to this, they're not going to recognize it at all. Now, there's nothing wrong with mixing in dark themes, but you have to bring in levity and fun, and anything comic book has to be thrilling. That's why we go for it. We like to see our heroes kicking ass, not crying. This has been, it's shot dark. You can't see anything. It's so goddamn dark, and it's thematically dark. So I don't know where they're going with this. Akiva Goldsman is the worst person imaginable to be handling any superhero property. Batman and Robin. That's all I got. Just Batman and Robin. The argument is over after that. People might enjoy how bad that movie is. But and yes, he's won an Academy Award for serious drama stuff. His genre is awful. It's awful. So I'm going to get to the chat. I want to like the show. I do. I really do. But It's depressing. It's because of these dark times. Yeah, Hollywood must be just really depressed. Get over it. Lighten up, Francis. Come on. The During dark times, it's really good to be hopeful. That's why a movie, that's like why The Wizard of Oz did well. Good escapism during like the Depression and stuff like that. That works. So, yes, their powers are order and chaos. They are derived from order and chaos, and not from past molestation. At least, okay, at least they're weaving in these themes where it makes sense in the story. It's nothing like the characters, but at least it makes sense in the story. It's not like we just put it here so we can say we put it there and didn't do anything about it. I'll give them that. But Jeff Johns, the writing was okay. And again, I like the characters, Hawk and Dove. I like the actors playing them. I think they do a good job. But this show has potential. It does, but oof, man. Movie Fanobi, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Haven't watched. Sending Richard C. Richard, see you at Tights. See you. Sending you dick money. I got what you were saying. Let's get up to the chat now. Oh, wow. Bryce 11544. Hail all. How are you? Cato Roan and his wrench. How are you? Good. Was it Comcast? No, Bryce. I had a bunch of stuff happen at my house that has been messing with my schedule, which sucks because I really want to be on time with the channel doing well and everything, but life gets in the way sometimes, man. Life gets in the way. But that stuff is handled now. Yeah, gotta have yeah, well, it's a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time, especially watching Hank and Dawn. It won't let me type dick. You just type dick right there. Oh, in the super chat? It won't let you type dick in the super chat? That's funny. Do I start off with Grayson jokes? Because I don't know any today, which is today was dickless. That's the only one. That's the only one. Take it easy, Movie Fanobi. $5 super chat from Silhouetted Animator. What's up? My headcanon is the Titans is set in reset DCEU timeline where Robin never died and Diana and Bruce met 10 years earlier and formed a proto Justice League. That's what it kind of feels like. It feels like that they set this in the DCU and they couldn't really course correct because they already shot this stuff before Warner Brothers decided to change everything. And it's funny how Warner Brothers mirrors the actual DC Comics universe. They change stuff on the fly. And you know what? There's some good things to that. You're allowed to you're allowed to be a little more free in your storytelling. But it's also one of the knocks against DC. I like DC. I do. I like its differences from Marvel. I love that it's not exactly like Marvel. Private boarding schools are a hotbed for abuse of all kinds. They are. And so are public. Public schools have the additional protection of teachers' unions. When DC gets all the Arrowverse shows and their other films from Netflix, they'll have their own streaming service. I imagine they'll boost in the audience numbers. I would hope so, and that's I'm surprised they haven't done that sooner. And Marvel, they're getting a lot of shit for canceling Daredevil from Netflix, but it's actually the smart thing to do. And when we first heard about the DC or the Marvel streaming service, the first thing you do is you get all of your stuff in house, and then you stop selling physical media, and then you force people to watch your stuff, because while physical media is out there and your stuff is spread out everywhere, people aren't going to feel compelled to go to your CBS All Access when Star Trek is at Netflix or the stuff is on Netflix. They're just going to stay with Netflix. Why are they going to pay extra money to see the same thing? It makes no sense. So they must have some sort of contract, or they must need the money from Netflix or wherever it's at right now. But eventually, yes, they will get everything in house. And that's the only way your streaming services will work. And mark my words, physical media is done. You're already starting to see that with Fox. They're not producing a Blu-ray for Orville. Yeah. So enjoy them while they last. Europe, you might still get physical media for a while. And that's how we're going to have to do stuff. I can see a day where we have, I've got my regionless Blu-ray player and I'm just going to have to buy stuff from you. I've been actually doing that for quite some time now because they really stopped putting a lot of fluff in our Blu-rays and they give you guys more stuff. And I don't know, maybe they see you as behind the times. I don't know. Europe, I don't see you as behind the times. Censorship sucks. Article 13 sucks. Yeah, this episode still just pissed me off. I need escapism, not molesters. However, it was still pretty good. James Hardy, yeah, like the episode itself by itself wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was just, oh man, it was dark and you left it on a cliffhanger. It's a shorter season. If you're binging this, which is probably what they're making for, it's probably not that bad. But yeah. I think Wonder Woman 1984 will reset the timeline. Yeah, it might. It might. They can introduce another. There's a lot of characters in the DC universe who can reset timelines, and DC is a well-established multiverse. So, you can just say that we're in a different. We're on. We're on. Yeah, Earth 1. You can say wherever the hell you are. Yeah, if they just kind of, I don't know, weaved in a crisis. See, I'd love the TV to count in the movie universe. Wouldn't you guys? Wouldn't you guys like them to connect? I would. That was the promise of Marvel and Netflix and their TV shows, and they kind of did it, and it was fun when they did. Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 2 was awesome. How it led into Winter Soldier. I thought that was brilliant, and I thought we were going to get more of that, and it didn't happen. Yes, I want this to exist in some sort of timeline. I can work with some of the stuff I don't like. I mean, I can work around it. It can get better. It doesn't need to be a perfect DC universe for me. I understand that. I'll keep my expectations low, but that's the way it's got to go. And thank you for supporting the channel. I'm going to end this one early, folks, because we got Friday Night Tights and I still have some things to do. I am working on 2 videos, possibly 3. Something landed in my lap. And it is quite the video. So I'm a little pissed in the next one. But the next one after that is a very happy Doctor Who video because we're gonna submit our Christmas ideas to the BBC. And you guys have some good ones and some funny ones. But God, there's a lot of them. I tried something completely new to superhero stories. Hank and Dawn has had bad dads. Exactly. Thank you, Philip A. Demick. I forgot to mention bad dads were on the order of the day too. Yeah, I wonder how the next season of Agents will do after the Thanos snap. Yeah, well, that fucking trailer, I loved it. I know some people didn't love and that's fine. I thought the Avengers trailer was awesome, and seeing Hawkeye Ronin, I thought that was awesome. That was the first time I was actually glad to see Hawkeye. I mean, Hawkeye's always been okay, but yeah, so we will be back for at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time for next Friday for Titans. And in the meantime, if you guys want to keep talking, see you it's a little later tonight. It's going to be 7:30. Okay, we were gonna do 8, but I can't do that late, so we have to go 7:30 for Friday Night Tights. And it looks like it'll just be me and Susan tonight, and that's okay. At least we didn't have to see. I know that's DJ Odyssey. That's why it was good. There was no Captain Marvel in it. Mars 10. I broke new ground. That's good. Susan should make it. I haven't talked to her yet. I have to submit her the news yet, but I know she's been sick. I didn't want to bug her, but I've also been like really incommunicado because I just have not had time to sit there and answer messages. If I start doing that, I will get stuck for an hour and I can't right now. Yay, we love Susan. We absolutely adore Susan. So yeah, she is still recovering. Well, so we will see you guys soon. Please like, share, and subscribe. Check out nerdrotic.com where we have our live schedule, which I accidentally deleted today in the gym, but it's back up. And oh yes, may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Stay out of those. Yeah, don't go to the weight room with the coach.